Wow. Welcome to UU Wellesley Hills. I am the Reverend Mark Roble, the senior minister here, and it's so nice to see everyone here this morning. I'd like to give a shout out to our guest worship leader and preacher, Rumni Saha. Rumni is the Hindu and UU chaplain at Wellesley College, and we're honored to have her with us today up at the chancel. So here at UU Wellesley Hills, we are an open and affirming congregation. For us, regardless of what corner of the earth and world you came from, whether from the north, the south, the east, or the west, it doesn't matter one bit how you dress. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter whom you love. It doesn't matter if you're gay or you're straight or you're bi or you're somewhere in between there. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim or an atheist or a humanist. What matters is that we are all here together, worshiping this morning, supporting and loving each other. So regardless of where you are on your own personal spiritual journey, regardless of how you name or know the holy in your world, you are welcome here. So, welcome to UU Wellesley Hills. Let's try that one more time. So, welcome to UU Wellesley Hills. Perfect. We are joyfully called to worship this morning. Now let's see, a show of hands. Is anyone here for the first time? I won't embarrass you. I just welcome. We're thrilled. Welcome back there. Welcome. So as we do each Sunday, first let's turn to the camera over here and wave to our online pew participants. And now we can turn to each other and offer each other a sign of peace. All right, everyone, settle down, settle down. Hey, Susie, would you go through Spirit of Life one more time so we can sing it? Okay, we're going to sing Spirit of Life. Okay, I just have a few announcements here. Men's Breakfast Club tomorrow, 8:30 at Logis. It didn't make it into the update. This is the second month in a row. I forgot to put it in last week's update. So I did send out an email early this morning through Breeze. So remember, Men's Breakfast Club tomorrow. There is a NODA, None of the Above concert this Friday at 7 p.m. Tonehedge will also be performing. NODA is an 8-year residence and artist here at Wellesley Hills, and they're absolutely wonderful. There are flyers on the back and sign-up sheet. You all know the drill. If some of you would pick them up and distribute some of the flyers throughout town, that would be great. And the last is that tomorrow through Thursday, I will be at the UU Ministers Retreat in Centerville at the Retreat Center. Terry will be covering for any pastoral emergencies, and certainly I would be available if anything, if I needed to be. So everybody needs to behave themselves next week and hold the fort down while I'm gone. Thank you.
Now, as we deepen into worship, I'd like to invite Reed up to light our chalice. The flaming chalice is not only a shining symbol of our Unitarian Universalist commitment to religious pluralism and humanitarian principles, but also a much-needed light shining into our world. We light it on our altar each Sunday and anytime we gather as a community. If you are watching from home and have a chalice on hand, you may want to light yours now. The words for our chalice lighting are spoken in unison. You will find the words printed in your order of service or appearing on your screen. Please join me in saying them as Reed lights our chalice this morning. We light this chalice to illuminate our faithful way forward. As an inspirational community of hope, together we seek spiritual growth, we strive for just and responsible action, we dedicate ourselves to leading lives of compassion and purpose. And now Jade is going to come and do a story for all ages.
Now I'd like to invite all the youngsters up, the young at heart, those of us who feel old, come on up and sit on the steps with us. Don't worry, we'll help each other up if we have to.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jade, and we'll be reading The Mango Tree and the Sparrow, which is a folk tale from India. Long ago, in a quiet village in India, there stood a great old mango tree at the edge of a dusty path. Its thick branches gave shelter from the sun, and its sweet fruit fed anyone who passed by, human or animal, rich or poor. One summer, a little sparrow made her nest in the mango tree. She chirped, tweet, 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 with joy as she raised her chicks in its safe branches. One day, a storm rolled in. Can we all do this? One day, a storm rolled in. The wind howled and shook the tree. The little sparrow trembled, fearing her nest might fall. The mango tree whispered, "Hold tight, little one. I will keep you safe." And though the storm raged, the tree stood strong, shielding the nest with its mighty branches. The next morning, the sun rose, warm and golden. The sparrow chirped gratefully, "Tweet, tweet, tweet." "Thank you, tree. You are so big, and I am so small. But you protected me." The tree replied, "Even the smallest among us matters. We all belong in the same world." Seasons passed. One day, a woodcutter came, holding an axe. "This tree is old," he said. "Let's cut it down for firewood." The sparrow heard this and flew to the village, calling out to the people, "The tree gives us fruit. It gives us shade. It saved me from the storm. We must save it now." The children of the village came running. "Please don't cut it down," they cried. "It's part of our home, part of our life. We love to play and hide in its branches." The woodcutter paused. He looked at the children, then at the tree, and slowly lowered his axe. "You are right," he said. "Some things are more valuable standing than fallen." The mango tree rustled its leaves gently, as if to say thank you. And from that day on, the tree was never harmed again. It stood tall, sheltering all who needed it, great and small, reminding everyone that we are all connected and kindness can come from anyone. Thank you.
Yep, don't go yet. Come back. Well, thank you for that story, Jade. So I wanted to ask you, wasn't that amazing that the littlest creatures or littlest things can help each other? Yeah? It doesn't matter how big or small you are, everybody can make a difference. And my question to you is, can you think of a time when you helped somebody else? I am sure you have helped someone. Yes. Oh, of course. Oh, that's beautiful. You don't even know, but you're helping your brother. Oh, wonderful. Anybody else? Come on, don't be shy. I know you have helped. Yes. Are you raising your hand? No. Yes. Are you raising your hand? Do you want to say something? Yeah. Well, how about one more? One more. Anybody? It could be, I heard earlier Reverend Mark saying young at heart, so anybody, right? Yes. Oh, fantastic. Oh, thank you.
Being a singer, I had an extra ticket to hear a wonderful singer perform Samara Joy last night, and there was a
thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, no matter who you are, you absolutely have every opportunity to be kind and help somebody. So keep doing what you do, giving out tickets, giving out hugs. Wonderful. Bringing more students in, well, thank you. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Jade.
Good morning. I'm Doug Putas. And before I do the play collection, another social action thing I want to mention is that this is being the first Sunday of the month. Our monthly Black Lives Matter vigil will begin at noon for 15 minutes out on the street in front of the church. Each Sunday, this congregation collects a weekly offering as part of its larger spiritual practice of generosity. Today, we collect for Camp Starfish, a camp for special needs children that we have been supporting for many years. I'm thinking it's now been slightly over 15 years. Camp Starfish is a haven for children who have difficult behaviors and are not welcome at any other camp. On a beautiful lake in Rindge, New Hampshire, the camp operates on a shoestring budget and is tremendously grateful for anything we can give them. In addition to our financial contribution today, we are planning a 4-hour service effort at the camp on May 10th to help the camp get ready for the summer. If you are interested in participating, please reach out to Karen Mariscal. Her email address is in the bulletin. Your donation can be made either electronically or by the plates that will be passed. If you want to make an online payment, visit the online giving page on our website and be sure that plate collection is selected from the drop-down menu. If you write a check, please remember to add, I did my own thing here and I said Starfish. I noticed in the bulletin it says CS. I think that they'll get it if it's either Starfish or CS. It's not Credit Suisse when you put CS. Sorry, little editorial comment. Please be generous in your support of this amazing camp.
We talk about helping each other and putting love into the world.
our group. And that is the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. Originally started by Reverend Martin Luther King, and it has had a revival, and we are all invited to participate in this movement. That is a coalition fusion movement between different organizations and individuals who are fighting for the interlocking injustices of systemic poverty, systemic racism, the war economy, and ecological devastation. Please visit the website or talk to me if you want to get involved. And we're so happy to be here with you all. Thank you.
They're gonna let no racism turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. They're gonna let no racism turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching for a better world. They're gonna let discrimination turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. They're gonna let discrimination turn me around. Keep on walking, yeah. Keep on talking, marching for a better world. Ain't gonna let no hatred sing. Turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Gonna let no hatred turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, gonna keep on talking, marching for a better world. I'm gonna keep on walking, gonna keep on talking, marching for a better world. I'm gonna keep on walking, gonna keep on talking, marching for a better
For all you have given and all you have sacrificed, we are grateful. Thank you. We open our circle of care and concern this morning with these words from James Cruz. Only love is big enough to hold all the pain of this world. And so I imagine the entire earth as one beating heart held in the space of this universe, inside a larger body we can't fathom, filling with enough love to lead each of us out of the cave of our personal pain and into the light. Enough love to lead all humans as one out of collective fear, rage, and hate into a place of peace that is found only within our own hearts, beating in sync with the pulse of this planet we were born to inhabit, despite the daily storms which overtake us and make us forget we are the lifeblood pumped into these veins, every particle of love we generate running into rivers, lakes, and creeks, evaporating into the air we breathe, giving back and breathe again. These words in our hearts and in our minds, I invite you into a moment of silence. and may we make it so. Now I'd like to invite all who wish to come forward to light a candle of joy and concern. And if you're comfortable, please tell us what person or place this intention is for, and we will carry them in our hearts. For those in our online pews, please type your joy or concern in the comment section, and we will also carry your joy or concern in our hearts. Please come down the center aisle, light your candle, and return by the side aisle. So let us begin.
I light this candle for my sister who has cancer surgery coming up.
I light this candle for my good friend Richard, who's in hospice.
I light this candle for a friend who needed sudden medical attention last night.
Light a candle of gratitude to my parents.
Mommy.
I'm lighting a candle for my friend Barbara Lubar and her family, who's making the decision about going into hospice.
I'm lighting this candle for Wilbert, 19 years old, who just had cancer surgery.
Lighting this candle for my mother, Evelyn, in assisted living, and all of her caregivers.
This candle is for my my son-in-law who passed away over the last day. It's for my son-in-law, Terrence.
We honor all of these intentions this morning in this community, but alongside these we know are certain joys and sorrows that remain silent and private this hour. Those too have a rightful place here. So this morning we honor all of these with light. We light this candle for our families, for our beloveds, for our friends, for our relations, for those for whom we are close and for those for whom we feel an unwanted distance, for the newborn, for the elderly, for all of the wounded children. May this candle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse. May its radiance pour out upon our hearts and spread light into the darkened corners of our world. Now please join in singing Comfort Me, number 1002 in your teal hymnal, and we will sing through the, the first verse. Our reading this morning is Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore, published in 1901. Tagore was the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913, at a time when the British were mercilessly ruling over India. The Tagores are also the original Brahmos, the Unitarians of India. Where the mind is without fear. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, O divine, let my country awake.
People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. the train to Jordan, it's picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith, it's the key, open the doors and boredom. There's hope for all amongst those that love the most. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind, oh Lord, to save his own. Can I say that one more time? Yes. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind, oh Lord, to save his own. Have pity on those, your chances they grow thinner, for there's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. So people get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith. 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 To hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. I believe, I believe. Do you believe? I believe. Oh Lord, I believe.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? So the title sermon is My Roller Coaster Faith Journey and Why It Matters. So thank you for going on this ride with me. I was born in India in a loving Hindu family. My mother was intensely religious and my father was an atheist. Dad was always curious of and always respectful to all faiths. He never interfered with my mom's strong beliefs. I went to a Catholic elementary school, a Brahmo middle and high school, and finally attended Loreto College, where Mother Teresa taught before she founded the Sisters of Charity. We're going to return to the Brahmos in a little later in the service. So I look back fondly at daily rituals, prayers, worship, and hospitality that formed an essential part of my childhood. My mom would cook intricate meals and offer sweets and fruits and money to her deities. She would also feed the hungry. I never questioned the ritualistic practices of my childhood till I visited Tirupati. Tirupati is the richest Hindu temple in the world, built around 300 AD. I was about 13 years old then. Tirupati is the richest Hindu temple, like I said, and in terms of donations, just to give you an idea, it earns about 3.1 crore Indian rupees, which is approximately $600,000 per day. And it also has gold reserves of 60,000 carats, so you can imagine how rich this temple is. So the entrance to the Golden Temple, and the dome is made out of 22-karat gold. So the entrance was absolutely pristine. But as we exited, I saw lines of beggars, many quite elderly and disabled, with their palms outstretched. Yet the faithful, who had just donated thousands at the altar inside, chose to openly ignore their plight. There was something amiss here, I thought, but carried on with my life of extravagant indulgences. In 1999, my 20-year career as an educator began at a pediatric teaching hospital in Boston. Every life I encountered at Franciscan Children's Hospital was priceless. The simple words of Ramakrishna, a Hindu mystic and teacher, "Humanity is the only religion," would begin to resonate and take hold of me. As the fragility of life started unfolding before my eyes, the incredible dedication of caregivers began to leave an indelible mark on me. This was my kind of religion, I concluded. At the same time, I started to become somewhat disillusioned by the way Hinduism was mostly practiced among South Asians who I had befriended after moving to the US. The Hinduism that many of us were practicing was replete with rituals and transactional prayers. There was little place for service towards others. The festivities mostly revolved around fancy attires, jewelry, and often superficial discussions about the American dream that Indians were living. South Asians are viewed as a model immigrant community in the US. Hindus often occupy an affluent socioeconomic status. Nevertheless, they generally prefer to stay out of activism or contentious issues, including aligning with Blacks and other people of color, which is so ironical. Hinduism, to me, was starting to appear to be self-serving. My disillusionment with Hinduism, as I narrowly understood it, would eventually draw me into Unitarian Universalism. My longtime amazing neighbors, the Zanuskis, two of the kindest and the most generous humans I know to this day, insisted for years that I was a UU at heart. They invited me to go to church with them, but the word church made me put my guard up. Even though I loved everyone I met at their house, I convinced myself that this faith that they all belonged to was probably some kind of a pyramid scheme like Amway. It just seemed too good to be true. The truth is that church was not something I was willing to consider. Religion was not something I was ready for. Almost a decade later, an order of service that I came across at their house in celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King piqued my curiosity. And I decided to go in for that particular Sunday worship. It was a service that blew me away. The minister, Reverend Jim Robinson, was a regular guy, just so real, so genuine, and so kind. At a time when I was not willing to consider God, I loved that there was no unnecessary mention of God, yet the service was an honest and gut-wrenching account of what we as individuals can and must do, something that to me was holiness and sacred work. That service made me want to go back again and again, and every time I returned with bated breath, nervous that the bubble would burst, but it never did. Church that I had been avoiding became a place where I found refuge. I was smitten by this strange religion, one that talked about things like peace and justice and truth and dignity. I was hooked. During this entire time, it did not bother me in the least that I had given up my Hindu identity. Little did I know that Hinduism was in my veins, and although I had turned my back on Hinduism, Hinduism was baked into my very being. It was an unprovoked attack on India and Hinduism by a fellow seminarian at Boston University School of Theology that forced me to get in touch with my roots. It led me to do some serious soul searching and a deep dive into Hinduism. In the course of my analysis, this is what I discovered about myself, my faith, and what Hinduism really stood for. What the student who had belittled Hinduism was talking about was Hindutva, which disguises itself as Hinduism, but is not. Hindutva is Hindu fundamentalism, even though Hinduism has no fundamentals. Unfortunately, Hindutva has replaced a pluralistic, peaceful, and inclusive set of values with hate and bigotry towards marginalized members of society, including those of other religious traditions, particularly our Muslim siblings. Here, a quick lesson on Hinduism that many of you may already know. Hinduism is not a conventional religion, as it is without a founder or a prophet. It is not a unified theological system, nor a centralized creed. The Indian high courts take a much more nuanced stance on Hinduism and do not recognize it as a traditional religion, and rightly so. It is referred to as a philosophy, as a way of life, a quest for truth, and ultimately a process of self-realization. Within Hinduism is the integration of religious beliefs and non-religious practices, including atheism, and innumerable cultural and societal frameworks that shape life. And here's the fact that about Hinduism that stumps most Westerners. In spite of our 33 million gods and goddesses, Hinduism is a monotheism because all these deities are manifestations of the formless, genderless entity, Brahma, the absolute divine, that is within each of us. So an unfortunate incident had turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I felt drawn to Hinduism again, and this time I had done my own inquiry, and what I had discovered was a richness of thought that I was ready to embrace once again. I realized that my atheist father was a most devoted Hindu. It was also the lived faith that my fiercely religious mother practiced by cooking and feeding others, and tending to the needs of those who were less privileged. Both were practicing seva, or service, which is the ultimate goal of the religion I was born into, but had deeply misunderstood. At the same time, I began to learn about the deep connection between Hinduism and Unitarian Universalism. I learned that the Brahmo Samaj, remember I mentioned the Brahmo school I had gone to? So the Brahmo Samaj, a socio-religious reformist movement that I had been enamored with all my life, was inspired by the Unitarians of England. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the founder of the movement in 1828, also known as the father of modern India, was responsible for eliminating many of the social ills plaguing India in the 19th century, like child marriage, the caste system, and the horrific practice of sati. I also found out, to my astonishment, that the transcendentalists were deeply, deeply influenced by Hinduism. In fact, I now joke, and others agree, that if Emerson and Thoreau were writing today, they would be charged with plagiarism for translating Hindu texts, particularly the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes word for word. The idea that they embraced about the importance of nature, self-reliance, the search for a higher truth, and most importantly, the relationship between the individual and the divine, that spark of the divine, were taken from Hinduism. It is said that Thoreau studied the Gita intensively, and kept a copy of the Bhagavad Gita with him at Walden Pond. And Emerson's Over Soul is really a direct translation of the Gita. Hinduism and Unitarian Universalism could be two sides of the same coin. They align beautifully. No wonder I, a steadfast Hindu, without even realizing it, had become a fierce UU. So why did this matter, and why and how did it play out? 6 months after my exploration of Hinduism, its lessons of pluralism would serve me well when I was called to provide spiritual care to patients and families from different faith traditions. The summer's clinical pastoral education at Brigham and Women's Hospital once again revealed the tremendous need for pluralism. I found out quickly that every hospital chaplain, whether an intern or a staff, and regardless of their affiliation, is first and foremost an interfaith chaplain. By the end of that summer, I had learned to recite the Lord's Prayer and the Mishivara with equal ease. The hospital was a place where life in all its beauty and messiness was playing out daily. I watched with heavy heart many incidents, including one when a devout young couple asked me to baptize their baby girl who was born too early and did not have much long to live. Even in the midst of utter hopelessness, the loving parents found solace in their faith as they bid goodbye to this tiny life that they had created, but that they could not hold on to. They believed with all their heart that baby Sophia would be cradled in the arms of the Almighty loving Father. Again, who was I to tell them otherwise? And what makes me think that I know better than what they believe? The memories of my Franciscan Children's Hospital days came flooding in. I thought about my student Daphne, whose loving mother had held her seemingly lifeless body on a grueling plane ride from Peru. It was a minuscule spider's poisonous venom that would leave her incapacitated forever. Rosa was filled with gratitude that her baby had survived and thanked God every day for this precious gift, a gratitude I had not understood then. I was reminded of my own mother, who in her last days, unable to eat or speak, would somehow manage to fold her hands together in prayer, a gesture that had left me angry at the one she was invoking who did not seem to listen to my prayers. I realize now how much she must have felt comforted in her dying days by her undying faith. Who was I to question it? Faith to some is stronger than death and disease. My reverence for faith and those who have faith only intensified in the course of those agonizing days of summer. I could also understand fully well how a once religious or faithful person may have lost their faith. Having experienced a crisis myself, I felt no judgment towards them. And with each patient visit, the pluralism of Hinduism that I grew up with seemed to visit me again and again. Shashi Tharoor, who is the British Member of Parliament, beautifully sums up what I was experiencing daily. Honor all traditions because God is just as much a Hindu as he is a Christian, I would say. Honor all traditions because God is just as much a Hindu as they are a Christian. Confused, I began to look deep inside me and ask myself, who are you? Who am I really? I felt invigorated to look into atheism actively and deeply. The atheist philosophy resonated with me, but the outright rejection of God, particularly of those who embrace God, seemed merciless and needless to me. That's my husband, he's a militant atheist. I had seen too many times in my life the tremendous comfort that religion provides to those who are left with no hope. So today, more than ever, I feel connected to Hinduism because it allows me to be a Unitarian Universalist, which in turn respects my skepticism, encourages me to question and reason, but most of all, it urges me to live an ethical life. My chosen UU community has been a source of stability for the past decade. It has taught me that we must translate our contemplation into action. But seminary also opened my eyes wide. I quickly began aware of some of the cracks in Unitarian Universalism. All of a sudden, I began to notice my church's Christian-centered worship and its culture deeply immersed in Christian traditions. I also began to see then that although we say we value diversity, our churches are far from being diverse or embracing diversity in all its complexities. I came to the realization that in all the years that I had attended my church, no one had ever asked me about me, my roots, who I really was. People I was close to did not know whether I was a Hindu, a Muslim, or a Baha'i. Granted that many people join a UU church because they are trying to get away from their past religious experiences, but wouldn't it be a wonderful opportunity to offer people the choice to share their religious and cultural backgrounds or share stories about their journey into Unitarian Universalism? I felt it was an opportunity missed for us to really know one another, where we come from, and what drives our faith or lack thereof. A particular religious and cultural identity within the larger context of Unitarian Universalism is important to many and must not be ignored, or at least must be named and celebrated, as it is cherished by many like me. Fulkerson and Shoup, two scholars on this topic of interculturalism, write, quote, "Assimilation is a prominent tactic for dominant groups as they enhance their diversity, and the desire for conformity to community practices assumes that the dominant culture is the desired normative way to live and worship," end quote. Similarly, this color-blind aspiration creates a necessary amnesia or unknowing around racialized systems, histories, and bodies. I am proud to share where I come from or what I believe. That is important to me. The day I was able to share these feelings with my home church, which I love, I also began to feel whole again because it signaled that my roots matter. By the way, I truly mean it when I say that your congregation is already ahead of the game. I am super appreciative that when I met with Kathy and Reverend Mark a couple of months ago, both insisted after our rich conversation that I speak about my faith and my identity at your church. Your healthy curiosity about my identity is exactly what experts say is essential for radical hospitality and nurturing an atmosphere of multiculturalism. Look, there is no doubt that the world is changing. The Pluralism Project describes many rivers of faith flowing through the landscape of America. All these religious traditions will continue to change in the new context of multi-religious America. All of us will continue to be changed by the richness that these rivers will bring with them. The reality of this changing face of America cannot be denied anymore. Make no mistake that the current pro-Christian stance that we are seeing all around is a reactionary response to the changing face of the nation. It is rooted in a deep-seated fear of losing cultural dominance and traditional identity. And which is why we need to push back against this tide of othering and hate. Again, it's not Christianity, it's Christian nationalism. So we need to push back against this tide of othering and hate, whether it is based on religious, ethnic, gender, or other identities. Our own churches also need to adapt to meet the needs of this new reality. The sooner we come to terms with it, the better we all will be. The hospital is just a sample of the interfaith world around us. We can no longer pretend to be apart anymore. We all are a part of it. So for now, I have pieced together what to me is an ideal, but also a practical set of beliefs that draws from the age-old philosophy of Hinduism and combines it with the rich living traditions of Unitarian Universalism, both with the emphasis on human spirit. Intricately woven into this are also the multiple religious influences that have left an indelible mark on me. If a belief system inspires one to do good and be kind, I'm all for it. Call it by any name. Let's continue to ask questions, be inquisitive. We must be ready with open hearts and a robust, healthy curiosity to not just tolerate, but truly appreciate one another. In the face of a changing world, let us commit to being transformed by our relationships with one another, to create spaces of radical hospitality, where all voices are welcomed and all identities affirmed. Through this commitment, we will continue to work towards dismantling systems of oppression and building communities rooted in equity, accountability, respect, and appreciation. Let us be open to change, faithful to love, and bold in our pursuit of a richly diverse, just, and compassionate world. May it be so. May it be so, because together we will make it so. So now, please rise in body or in spirit as you are able, and join in singing our closing hymn. There are numerous strings. Hymn number 197, another hymn written by Tagore.
Thank you.
Now that our celebration is concluding this morning, we extinguish our chalice. Our closing words are spoken in unison. You will find them printed in your order of service or appearing on your screen. Extinguishing this flame which has burned bright in our midst, we revere what has been kindled within each one of us. Warmth in community, the light of truth, a perpetual spark of hope. And now for the benediction. May Brahma, or the light of the divine within each of us, shine ever brighter, as the Atma, or the sacred self, connects us to all that is. May we walk the path of dharma, or righteousness, with courage and compassion, holding truth, love, and justice as our guiding stars. As Unitarian Universalists who seek wisdom from many sources, may we honor the many rivers that flow into the ocean of truth. Let our hearts be open to mystery, our minds to reason, and our hands to the work of peace and healing. May we see the sacred in each and every face and meet each moment with reverence and resolve. Let our spirit grow in harmony with the earth and our actions be a blessing to the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. To all that has been, to all that is, and to all that is yet to be, peace, peace, and more peace.
I'd like to take a moment this morning to give a great big thank you to our guest musicians this morning, What the World Needs Now, the Interfaith Coalition Singers. You guys are wonderful, and thank you for honoring us with your presence and your talent and music this morning. Thank you.
Standing together is a group of Arab and Jewish Israelis who are trying to create peace, Palestinians and Israelis in Israel. It's important to remember, as we just heard about, there are Hindu nationalists, there are Christian nationalists, there are fundamentalists in every world who are working against peace and tolerance. But in Israel, it's important to know that there are many Jews and many Palestinians who want peace. And we're singing for them and for peace.
Oh, shalom aleinu. Oh, shalom aleinu. Oh, shalom aleinu. Ve'akulah. Oh, shalom aleinu. Oh, shalom aleinu. Oh, shalom aleinu. Ve'akulah. Salam. Assalamu aleina. Salam, salam. Let go